We don't have the image here. Super weird. No. Right. Live on LinkedIn anyway. And Facebook and YouTube. TikTok. We'll have to wait for a second. Let's see if we can get back in there. We're going to cover today self-doubt. Let's go live. Right. TikTok sorted. Get there in the end. Give it a second or two to load up on TikTok. Right. Today we're going to cover very briefly, because I haven't got a lot of time, mindset, or the idea of self-doubt. And it's one of those topics that I think is really, the mic on, yep, really, really important. But I hate talking about it because I feel like the internet is full of gurus talking about limiting beliefs and mindset and all that stuff. And it's sometimes when I talk about it, it feels a bit lame, but it is important. If you don't have belief in yourself, and I'm going to kind of cover belief in a coach as well, because this kind of come on the back end of me talking to one of my clients who's been with me for a while, and we got onto the subject of self-doubt with weight loss and coaching and that kind of thing. So I want to talk about it because I believe if you don't have belief that something will work, or you don't have belief that you are willing to put in the work. So let's say you haven't got the belief that you are going to change your diet, exercise, work hard, those kind of things, then you can't fully commit. I guess it's like if someone asked me to commit to some kind of university course, or you asked me to commit to something I knew I would never be good at. It would be very hard for me to put my all into it. There would be too much doubt, and therefore I wouldn't get the result anyway. I think a lot of 40 plus men fall into this category of either I've always been overweight, I'm not sporty, or they fall into this kind of category of I've just failed so many times, I don't believe I can lose weight. This is just me. Like, I'm just going to live with it. And I don't want that. I don't want 40 plus men to believe they can't lose weight just because they don't have the belief. So I feel like if you're going to try and lose weight, if you're going to start a fitness journey, you have to believe that no matter what, you will do the work. I'm not saying what you do will work first time. I'm not saying you will get it right perfectly. You will probably cock it up many times. But I feel like if you are going to genuinely change your lifestyle to lose weight, you have to be able to say to yourself, I believe that I can do this. I believe I'm ready to take action. This is why when people come into my program, we have quite an in-depth chat, because I need to figure out whether or not they believe that they actually can do it. If you don't have belief in yourself, you're not going to fully commit. That probably covers that part of it. There's probably not much more I need to say other than that. The question might be, how do I improve the belief in myself? How do I get rid of self-doubt when it comes to fitness and weight loss if I have always been overweight? I guess, a lot of the men I work with are 40, 50, 60 plus. A lot of them will say they started to gain weight after university when they had kids. They often have many years of being overweight. The question is, how do you kind of put that aside and prove to them that they actually can lose weight? How do you fix this self-doubt problem? Because that's important, like I've just said. Here are some ways I think you can do it. One, ask yourself if you've ever fully committed. I say this to guys on the phone. They'll say, because this is a common thing I'll get, is I've tried everything. I've tried to do these diets. I've tried running. I've tried everything. It's very common for someone who's overweight to think they've tried everything. And then I will often ask them, when you tried X diet, or when you tried X training plan, when you did this, do you believe you were 100% committed? Were you all in? Were you willing to do it regardless of if you were tired or if you were, had a bad week? Do you think you gave your all? And a lot of times they'll say no. If I'm truthful, I probably could have worked harder. I probably gave up too soon. Diet starts to get a little bit tough. Training starts to get a little bit boring. You give up too soon, or very common for a lot of men I work with. You hit the wall, you lose 5, 10, 15 pounds, and then it stops and you give up. So a lot of the men I work with will say, I don't believe I've ever fully committed. And then from that, you can say, well, that's why you failed. That's why you didn't succeed, because you gave up too soon. And I think if you can acknowledge that you possibly haven't tried your hardest in something, then hopefully you can say to yourself, okay, is it me the problem in terms of, can I not lose weight because of excuses, or have I haven't really gone into it? It's like looking back to university or school, I could look back and go, I could have done so much better in some of these subjects. I was bored. I didn't want to do it. I didn't try my hardest. So there's the first thing. Ask yourself, if you have self-doubt, if you believe that you are someone that can't lose weight, you believe you're someone that always fails, say, did you legitimately try your hardest? And if the answer to that is no, then okay, then the next time you try, then that is something you can work on by saying, right, this time I'm all in. Doesn't matter if it gets tough. Doesn't matter if I start to despise it, or if I get stuck, I'm not going to quit. The second new thing you can do in terms with regards to belief, and I do this. This is what I think about my program, is because it's specifically for men who are 40 plus, who typically have children, businesses, or busy jobs. Everyone in the group, everyone in my program is very similar. When you go into an environment like that, if you go into an environment where everyone like you is being successful, it's very hard to not be inspired by that. It's essentially evidence that you could probably do better. So if you're someone that said, I'm too busy, I always fail, I can't lose weight, and I don't believe I can do it anymore. I don't believe I can do it because I'm too busy. I don't believe I can do it because I'm over 40. I don't believe I can do it because I've got a slow metabolism. Whatever kind of reason you have for not having the belief in yourself, well, if you can find 10, 20, 100, with social media, you can find thousands of men like you who are successful. Hopefully that'll make you realize that, okay, if these men can all lose weight who are just like me, and I'm not talking about people that might have medical problems and stuff like that. I'm saying, not healthy people that are just overweight. If you can find a group of men that have done it, then surely you should believe that it's possible. In the same way as if I'm in a coaching program now and there are people in there making, like one guy made $500,000 in February. Well, that's in my head. I'm like, well, if other people doing online fitness like me, no better than me, no more educated than me, no luckier than me, if those people can make all that money, then why can't I? It changes your belief when you see other people like you achieving things that you want to achieve. It's not like when people come into my program, all the men, it's not like a 60-year-old comes into my program. I have a few guys that are over 60. It's not like they come into my program and they see guys in their 20s and 30s, or in their late teens, and they think, well, these guys are young, they live at home with their mums, they don't have kids, they don't have busy jobs. They come in and see all these men like them, and the only thing you should hopefully do is say to yourself, okay, that shows me I can do it. There's another way of having more self-belief. A third way is to join a coaching program and put your belief in the coach. This one is a bit of a hard one, but it's like, I was chatting to a client the other day, and he was like, I didn't really necessarily believe in myself, but I believed that you could help me, which is kind of interesting to hear. Like, he's kind of like, I'm just going to place all of my belief in you. I'm just going to believe that you're going to send me the plan that I need to follow. You're going to answer my questions. I'm going to believe that you will be there and I'll get results. And then, of course, he's lost about 10 kilos. And now he is more confident in the process. He even said, like, now we've gone through the process I think he's been in the program for about 10 weeks, 11 weeks. Now I've been in there for a period of time. I'm more confident in myself because he's proving to himself he can do it. Another thing you can do is just celebrate small wins. I think a lot of 40 plus men focus too much on the negative. Haven't lost enough weight. I accidentally went over my calories today. I missed a session because of the kids were ill. Like, it's always negative, and it makes you feel like you failed. it's hard to have self-belief if you constantly tell yourself you're failing. A really good way to get over this is to, and I learned this again, it feels a bit lame to say it, but it's something I learned a few years ago, and I used to do it, was just have a coaching program I was in once called a brag book. And it sounds quite arrogant, but it's just a book where you write down reasons why you have been successful or reasons why your week has been good. This is why I do think journaling and diaries are good for that. So instead of stacking up in your mind all the things you've done wrong, which might be one or two things, let's take the average week of a man over 40. You mess up a couple of meals, you miss a session, the weight doesn't drop as much as you thought. It's just a few things, but then you could actually flip it and say, well, actually, what did I do well this week? Well, although I fucked up one meal, all those other meals were good. Although I missed one session, I actually managed to go to the gym 3 times. And prior to this, I was never going. I've averaged 6,000 steps this week every day. And normally I don't do anything. What that does is start to prove to yourself that you are actually able to commit, you're taking action, and you're improving yourself. And again, that improves self-belief. I think that really kind of covers it. It's not a huge subject. It's just one of those things I feel like you have to get your mindset right for weight loss, because having a good diet, having a good training plan, having all those things, even having a coach is not important if there's not this kind of belief that you can do it. And we can talk about other things like motivation and having a strong why and having a reason to do it, but there needs to be a belief. You need to wake up every day and say, I believe I can do this, and I believe it's going to work. And that's also, I think, why that's why when men go into coaching programs like mine, they're a little bit more motivated, because if they believe in the coach, of course, this doesn't work if you're doubting. But if you, and this isn't just for me, but if you followed a coach for a long time, you've seen them get lots of results. When you go into that environment, it's sometimes nice to be like, this coach is going to give me a plan to follow. And if I follow his plan, it will get me results. Fitness is it's a science. It's guaranteed. If I give someone a plan and it doesn't work, we can change it, but we will figure it out and you will get results. Again, that builds belief. So if you think that self-belief is holding you back because you say to yourself, I always fail, I can't lose weight, like nothing ever works for me. If you're negative about it, that is going to lead to half-assed actions. Let's be honest. It's like that Tony Robbins kind of belief wheel. Don't know what he actually calls it, but it's like, if you're negative, you won't take action. If you don't take action, you won't get results. If you don't get results, you'll lose belief, and so on. But if the opposite way around, you break that habit, start to take action, get some results, believe yourself a bit more, you get more confident, and it goes the other way. You have to break it. How do you break it? Like I said, look for evidence of other people like you doing the same. What is your goal? Can you do the same? About 3 or 4 days ago, that guy, you might follow him, that Squat University guy, he posted a video of an 80-year-old man doing a 150 kilo deadlift. If you're a 40 or 50-year-old man and your goal is to get stronger, but you keep saying, oh, I can't do it, I'm too old. And if you don't see an 80-year-old man deadlift 150 kilos and think, fuck, if he can do it, I can do it, then I don't know what was going to help you. Maybe get your testosterone levels checked, because that should really fire you up. So one thing, find other men that have done it. If even better, join a community of other men that are doing it. Like join a program, join a Facebook group. I don't know, maybe that, find a local group. I don't know if there's many local weight loss groups for men, but find a community, or even just join a gym and get some training partners. Find some people that are like you and let them inspire you. And then the other thing is, ask yourself truthfully, is the reason that I've failed in the past because I haven't really committed? Is the reason you can't lose weight because really you've half-assed it? And we've all done this. We've all done things in our lives where we have said we're going to do something and then we don't really do it properly. And then in our minds, we're like, well, that was a bit shit. I'm not very good at that. A really good example is I used to believe I was not very good at business, kind of sales calls. And that was when I first started to do sales calls on the phone. I I did 50 of these sales calls and only 2 people said yes. 2 out of 50 is not very good, right? It's a pretty low number for conversions. I could have easily just said, I'm personally bad at sales calls. I'm not a salesman. I'm not a businessman. I could have chucked it in and never tried again. But instead I said, well, actually, I don't think I'm bad at sales. I just think I don't have the skill yet. And then I went off and learned it for a few years. And now that number is more like 8 out of 10 that say yes. So a big difference. Same can be done with fitness. You need to ask yourself, are you committed? If you haven't committed, go in and learn more about it. Right, that kind of covers it. I've got to be short. This has to be short today because I've got loads going on. Hopefully that helps. For those of you on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube in front of me there, if you are looking for a coach, as I always say, I possibly can't. I can't help everyone. I might be able to help you, but if you'd like to discuss it, send me a message on TikTok. You can follow me, send me a message, or use the link in my bio, and we can just have a chat and see if I can help. Enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you soon.